So let's get into Tech Talk with Fred.
Yeah, so I didn't get to
Tech
do it
Talk with
last week.
Fred.
I want a soundbite of that now.
Yes, get
Yeah,
you a
so
soundboard.
I don't have a whole lot, since we're not sponsored by Arlo anymore. I
Yeah.
don't really have a lot to talk about. No, this week last week I was planning to talk about cars, but I didn't join. So I'm gonna talk about that. Given the pandemic and everything, I know a lot of people have been doing road trips instead of flying. And when you have kids, if you've got one, flying maybe isn't the worst idea ever. But if you've got two or three kids, you're not flying. You've got so much crap to carry with you. You're loading up the soccer van and you're going out that way. I mean, let's be real. And so that's why this week I just wanted to talk about some little car gadgets and things that'll make your life a lot easier on some road trips. The first one, and probably the most important car gadget I've ever seen or used is a power inverter, which, if you don't know what that is, basically a power inverter is just this little device that you can plug into the like 12-volt outlet or the cigarette lighter if your car is that old. And what it does is it converts the power into 110 volt so that you can plug in small electronic devices. You could plug in, hey, I'd have to see if it would work with the new generation of consoles because those things are pretty like beefy. But I'm pretty sure you could plug in an Xbox and a small portable TV and have that in the back seat of your car or van for when you're driving, or a TV player or a TV and a DVD player combo. You could plug those in. It's just it's power that you can actually plug things into.
Can I plug in a Nintendo Virtual Boy?
If you have one, maybe.
Just go for it. We'll see what happens. Like it's just it's a power strip. That's basically what it is. You plug it in, it gives you actual outlets so you can plug stuff into laptops, small laptops. I don't know if you've got a big beefy Alienware gaming laptop if it would be able to power it, but if you need to work in the car or something, it works. Tablets, phones. I mean, you get the idea. They're really good. Depending on how handy you are, they make some that you plug directly into the battery. Those are the super powerful ones, and you can actually power small appliances with that. So if you, yeah, I mean, like those are more for if you're going to go camping or something. You can have a mini fridge or a microwave in the back of your car, and it'll work.
Or if
Like,
you're driving and want popcorn,
I
just throw
mean,
it in your
yes.
microwave.
If you need a chimichanga on the highway, bam, you're good to go.
I'm gonna stick a microwave on my passenger seat from now on.
I mean, you could do it. But yeah, those are the extreme ones. Which if you need that kind of stuff, if you're camping, if you like doing that, yeah, go for it. If you just want something for a road trip, Bestek, Bestek, they make a really good lightweight one. The reason I'm recommending theirs, because I mean they're all the same, is just that theirs is made out of like a piece of aluminum, so it's super. Um, it's light, but it's also very strong. So if you have kids in the back seat throwing things around, you don't really have to worry about a plastic thing breaking. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty beefy. So yeah, there's that. Um, and to kind of piggyback off of that, I hate that phrase, is backseat entertainment systems. If you have, a super fancy new car or a van, a lot of them come with built-in screens in the back seat for the kids or whoever. But if you don't, you can actually buy for very cheap, depending on how much you want to spend. I found one that looked really good. It was about $150. It basically, you attach it to the headrests in the back seat. Well, I guess it'd be the front seat headrest for the passengers in the back, and you can either plug it into an outlet like the little power inverter I mentioned, or you can actually hardwire it directly to the battery. So when you crank it up or you crank up your car, it turns on. But depending on how much money you want to spend, depending on what kind of features you want, the Ventray is the one that I was just mentioning for $150. It has 1080p, so HD. It has the ability to pair to your phone. So if you want to make sure that you're controlling what your kid's watching, if they're little, you can hook your phone up and just play YouTube off of your phone or whatever. But this one in particular runs off Android, so you can download Netflix, Hulu, stuff like that. For when your kids get older, if you've got older kids already. That's just one option. If you want to go the old school route and you don't want to have to worry about like Wi-Fi, your internet, or downloading stuff, they make some that are DVD players, CD players. So hook it up, throw a DVD in, press play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a way for you to take. If you have an older vehicle, you can upgrade it with 2021 tech for a fraction of the price. Because if you were to go to Best Buy and try and install one of the actual car entertainment systems, you're looking at thousands of dollars to have it done. But this, you could buy it off Amazon, literally strap it on, plug it in, you're good to go. And if you're on a long car trip, I feel like everyone's going to love that.
Yeah.
Let's
Clay,
see.
you're muted.
Oh, is he trying to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it called?
Oh, so this one is a Ventray, VENTRAY home headrest video player. This is just one that I was looking at. It's the tablet one that's 1080p. It's got Wi-Fi functionality, Bluetooth, all that fun stuff. But that was just one example. They range in price from $50 I found for one all the way up to several $100s depending on how fancy, if you want a 4K one that's got streaming and built-in Wi-Fi and all that stuff, you're going to pay a little hefty fee for it. If you just want a little monitor that hooks to the back seat that hooks up to a DVD player, you can get one of those for like $50. So it just whatever features you need or want and whatever your price range is the big factor in those. But
you can just tie it up a Nintendo Switch to the back of your.
I was gonna say, like you literally could just take your old tablet, from the mid 2000s, or if you have an old Nook or something, and you could just put some yarn on it and throw it over the back seat.
Hey, it works.
Yeah. So moving on the theme of security cameras that we've been on the last couple of weeks. Tim was the one I think it was Tim that was curious about this one, which is ironic since he's not here. But just having car security cameras or dash cams.
I just have to stop you for 1 second. You guys may not be able to see Fred, but he just very seductively took off his robe.
I was gonna.
It got really warm. Sorry.
Thank God he's not. His webcam doesn't show up on the podcast.
Yeah.
We would get demonetized for this.
Wow, your chest is extremely hairy. Just we happen to be wearing the same shirt, but
so remember, if you want to see Fred's cam on the podcast, just pay for our OnlyFans.
Yep, that's it.
Sorry, go ahead, Fred.
Anyway, so yeah, dash cams or car security cameras, the same thing with everything else tech related, depending on how much money you want and based off the needs you have, is just what you're going to get. If you just want a dash cam, which I highly recommend getting a dash cam, they're not very expensive. Depending on how much money you want to spend and what kind of features you want, you could pick one up for $25 that just has an SD card that records while you're driving. Or if you want to spend a couple $100s, you can get some that will sync to your phone that can like auto upload to the cloud while you're driving. They've got motion sensors. They go in dormant when the car's turned off. So if someone walks in front of your car or hits your car, it starts recording. The main reason I recommend these is, if you drive a lot, you never know what you're going to see. Sometimes it's just neat to like catch stuff on the road. But then also for liability purposes, it's really nice to have one. If you've ever been in a car wreck and you've got one of these and it's not your fault, you can literally just pull it out, show the cop, and bam, you're done. Insurance providers love when you have these, or hate, depending on if you're a good driver or not. They're really nice. They make, especially with like rideshare programs, there's now thousands of these cameras, and they're all really nice. Uh, the one that I was going to talk about is called Van True, literally just Van True. This one is more for Uber and Lyft drivers because what it does is it's got two cameras. It's got one camera that faces out the front onto the road, and it's got a second camera that looks backwards so it can record what's happening in the back of your car. Um, reason I like this one is, for kids, you can see what kind of stuff they get into while you're driving, and then also if you've got a larger vehicle or an unobstructed view through your rear view or your back window, this works too. So if you get rear-ended, it can record it, so you don't have to worry about buying a second camera to hook into the back seat because that can get really annoying. So yeah, that's one that I like. If you want something that Tesla has, which Tesla has cameras on like every side of the
Dogecoin.
view. Say what?
Said Dogecoin. Sorry.
Yes. No, so Tesla has cameras on like the front and the sides of the vehicle that run 24/7. So if someone hits your car, they can record it. If you want to get a setup like that, you can, but they're very expensive, and it's going to cost it's going to cost you a pretty penny. You're talking several hundred, if not thousands of dollars for a setup
Ooh.
like that. But if that's what you want, like if you're super paranoid and you want to be able to cover every inch of your vehicle, no matter where it is, and no matter where you are, then you can do it. So, moving on, the last one, and this one is kind of only applicable for people in warmer climates or in the summer.
So not me.
Are yeah, are
Shut
their
up,
solar powered car fence. Disclaimer before we even get into this: these are not an alternative to air conditioners, and under no circumstances should you ever leave a child or a pet inside a vehicle with just this. Um, but these are fans that you can literally do. You just hook up to your car door. You roll the window down a little bit, slap this in, or you just put it over the top of the car. And what it does is, for me, I live in the South. It gets very hot. 10 minutes in the sun in a parking lot, and the car is already 120 degrees. So what these do, you can put them in your window, and it just circulates fresh air through the car. It can kind of help cool the car down a little bit, but its main purpose is it gets rid of the mugginess and like the humidity out of your car and just helps your car stay a lot fresher. That way, if everyone's gone into a mall or a Walmart, gone out to your car, you get in and it's just 1,000 degrees. This is a way to kind of help cool it down. The reason I'm recommending this is because, if you're like me, our car is black exterior with a black interior, and our kids' car seat is black. That was the only option they had, was black. So it gets very hot, and car's super hot, baby's hot. Putting them in a hot car seat just doesn't mix well. So this is a way to kind of help the cooling process because it runs automatically, no power. It's literally solar powered. So it just runs, brings fresh air into the vehicle, tries to pump out the hot, grody air. So that way, when you get into your car, it's a lot easier to cool down. And if you ever accidentally leave food in the vehicle, it helps keep your car from getting funky. Which, if you have kids, you've left food in there. Because nothing is worse than getting into your car and realizing somebody left a McDonald's bag in there.
That's some
Or a
moldy
diaper.
French fries.
Yeah, or a diaper. Yeah, and these are really cheap. If you want to get a super fancy one, you can. But I found dozens of these for about $25 each, so you could get one for every single window for under $100. And it's just a solar powered fan. There's no crazy work you need to do. You literally roll your window down, slap it in, roll it up, and you're good to go.
Would you say you need more than one? That one being on at the same time?
I mean, it depends what you're going for. The more you have, the more effective it is. I personally would have two, so you could get a little crossbreeds going, one on each side. But one is better than none. And if you don't live somewhere that's super hot, you probably don't need this. But it's just a nice little way to help keep the car from getting too hot. I used to live in Georgia, and I have one of these in my car because I had a Nissan Murano that was black, and it had brown leather seats. And when I would work during the day, the parking lot of where I worked was just this massive parking lot, no shades, no trees, nothing. And in the summer, it hit 100 degrees, so my car was just literally sitting in 100-degree heat for 8 to 10 hours, and by the time I'd get in, I couldn't touch anything. So I got one of these to put in it. And like I said, it doesn't, I didn't like get in the car and the car was 60 degrees. Like, no, it was still hot. Like the inside of the car was still like 100 degrees plus, but it got rid of the humidity and the mugginess, and it made cooling the car down so much easier, and it just made the heat a lot more tolerable. So that's kind of why I was wanting to recommend this, because if you've got a car like mine and a car seat like mine, that's one of the biggest issues we have is it takes like 15-20 minutes to cool the car down.
Mhm.
And I don't want to put my daughter in the car seat if we've been out at the park and it's a little toasty. I don't want to like throw her in a scalding hot car seat, because that's just going to make it worse. So usually when we're getting ready to leave, or we think we're getting ready to leave, one of us has to run to the car and crank it up and start getting it cooled down a little bit. So this is just a cheap, easier way to kind of speed up the process and keeps your car smelling fresh and not as funky. And
There's nothing wrong with
getting
that.
one of that.
say what?
I'm definitely getting one.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate, this is not an air conditioner. And if I see a car that's got one of these and a kid or a pet inside, I'm smashing your window.
Yeah.
Like, it will still kill. Like, if you leave a kid or pet inside a vehicle with one of these in the middle of the summer, they will still die. Like, this is not an air conditioner. It's not a replacement for anything. It's still going to be very hot. It just helps. I want to make sure no one hears this and is like, oh, I can use this in place, and like leaves their dog or kid inside. I'm like, this random dude on the internet said it would work.
Hmm.
No, you will still go to jail if someone sees you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta throw the disclaimer out there.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm trying to keep it family themed. So if anyone listens to this, which I still don't think anyone's listened to it other than us and our partners, if you have any recommendations, ask away.
Yeah. So that was our Tech Talk with Fred.